What's going on, guys? I'm back here with another video today, and today we'll be talking about the 10 most surprising players in this year's NBA season. So before we start today's video, I want to hear down below who you think should be the most improved player of the year. We obviously know Jerami Grant is leading the way, but I want to hear everyone's opinion. And also, if I don't mention anyone that is either my honorable mentions or my top 10 list that I didn't mention and you want to be talked about, mention down below. I respond to a majority of my comments. So do it, and let's get into today's video. If you look at the NBA BPM leaderboard, you'll find Boucher ranks 13th in the league, right between Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry. And the 28-year-old Canadian has done an amazing job filling in as small ball 5 and proven dramatically effective in that role. Yeah, you see that he's 6'9", 200 pounds, so he's undersized and can get easily pushed around. But his shot blocking skill is so elite that it offsets that disadvantage. His 9.4% rejection rate is second only to Indiana's Miles Turner. And the thing is a lot of his block shots are on the perimeter where the shooter has zero expectation that Boucher's long arms would reach them. And then on the offensive side, he's a two-level threat. At the rim, he's a long, bouncy enough to finish passes with dunks or convert a dribble drive. Then from the perimeter, he has this long windup that isn't bothered by closeouts due to his size and length that he's been making 45% from 3. And finally, bunch of people on, he's ranked 13th out of the top 22 players on the BPM leaderboard. And the thing is, most of the guys are former, current, or former All-Stars. And he, in my opinion, is leading the sixth man of the award race right now. He's the leading candidate. So let's get into number 9. Chris Boucher, though, so much fun. Andrew Wiggins has become a hyper-efficient, two-way, defensive-minded player. Look, the central improvement by Wiggins has been his sudden zeal for shot blocking. Look, something that wasn't ever in his bag previously. He spent back 4.5% of the opponent's shots this season, far and away the best figure from a non-center, and good enough for 17th overall in the league. It's also nearly triple his rate of 2 years ago. Somehow between years 5 and 7 in the NBA, he just figured out how to play defense. The shift has given Wiggins a real value proposition on the defensive end. He literally used to just float around there. Now he's just out there being a menace. It's not even like he's going out and just being a rim protector. No, when a guy goes up for a layup, you can count for Andrew Wiggins to be chasing down that block like a man gone crazy. All he cares about is just blocking shots, not letting you score from the perimeter or on the inside, especially if you're smaller than him. Then on the offensive side, Wiggins is shooting 40% from 3. Again, adding value in an area where he previously had nothing. Like, he really was a liability. And he's improved his offensive value beyond his little below average shot creation that he provided in Minnesota, where he's taking a lot of end of the shot clock, long range, inefficient 2-point shots. Now he's taking just good shots, either 3-pointers or he's going in and attacking the rim like a madman, just being so aggressive, because if he sees that you're smaller than him, he's taking it inside, and it's been fun. Somehow, this comes down to the Warriors just turned him into a really good player. It's really because he's been in the best situation and best culture he's ever been in, and ideal, and that's why they're nurturing him and harnessing his powers. The Charlotte Hornets felt like they didn't need Nick Batum anymore and he wasn't worth the money, so they released him. And he signed a minimum deal with the LA Clippers, and it turned out to be one of the best bargains in the entire league. Look, moving to the 4 has clearly agreed with him, and Batum always struggled with his shot creation responsibility of playing the wing, but now he's free to roam in search of the catch and shoot threes and otherwise make the next pass while being at the 4 position. His usage rate is a modest 12.3%, but that's okay because he's knocking down his shots at 45.3% of his threes. And again, it makes it easier for him because he's playing alongside Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. But Batum has the instincts that he doesn't need to force the action, and he makes the next pass, which works a lot better playing the 4 next to elite perimeter talent. And the position switch has helped it on defense too, where he has the size and length to play the modern 4 position, but has been placed on the wing due to the lack of physicality. In today's NBA, he's not dealing with Zach Randolph on the block anymore, but mostly defending strip players like himself. So no, Batum isn't contending for the rebounding crown, but his steal rate is career high, and his switchability with Leonard George is a real asset. Overall, Batum has been good enough that he's hung on to the starting job, even though Marcus Morris Sr., the presumed starter entering camp, has returned from injury. I've already talked about DeAndre Hunter's emergence on the Hawks in an earlier video. Go check it out. I believe he's the most underrated player in the NBA. Though it's because he had a concerning rookie year, shot 45% on twos, and he was 22 years old. But this year, he's improved off the dribble, and it's the main reason he's become such a lethal offensive player. That 2-point percentage is now a sizzling 60%, and it's just not dunks and layups. Hunter has become more comfortable with the short pull-up and runners, with a third of his shots coming from the mid-range and a conversion rate of 55% according to Cleaning the Glass. Overall, Hunter's PR jumped from last year, piddling 8.6 to this year's 17.6 is one of the largest in the recent anomalies that if you look through Pro Basketball Reference. He's also defending the opponent's best player on most nights, and his emergence is the main reason the Hawks are over 500 despite a myriad of injuries and an early slump from Trae Young. And honestly, he has a real shot of winning the Most Improved Player trophy. Jerami Grant might have to take a slump for him to take it, but DeAndre Hunter is really making a case for it. Diallo is really interesting because he is 22 years old, and his breakout season is coming when this coming off season, he's going to be a restricted free agent. So it brings up a lot of stuff because he's really hasn't changed since coming into the NBA. He still takes the ball and immediately goes hard to the rim, and just like he did as a freshman in Kentucky. Though that's really his only option because he still can't shoot 29.4% from 3, 57.6% from the line. But he's athletic enough to make this an effective strategy. The difference this year is he doesn't look totally out of control while doing it, and he occasionally passes. In his first 2 seasons, his assists were rare and mostly accidental, but he tripled his assist rate this season, and he likely will exceed last season's assist total sometime in the early February, and he'll probably have more assists this year than his first 2 years combined. But the big thing with Diallo is how much pressure he can put on the rim when he gets half a step downhill. Look, he is just really good. If you look against Portland, he's shooting 69% at the rim against any team, and if you saw him in the game against Portland, he was doing really good. And more than half of these shots he makes are unassisted. Diallo's play has helped a nudge and otherwise decrepit the underbench unit that features 2 overmatched rookies to shockingly respectable results, especially when they remember to play Kenrick Williams. If he keeps it up, he's in line for a nice payday this summer. Quick honorable mention to the guys that didn't crack my top 10. So first one, CJ McCollum, who's by far having the best career start, before breaking his bone in his foot. Bam Adebayo taking his offensive game to another level by weaponizing his mid-range change. Jaylen Brown, not sure if we can call this a surprise, but he's just been awesome, and he's shooting approximately 99.9% on pull-up jumpers. Nikola Vucevic is quietly having a career year at 30. Eric Gordon's back from the dead after a miserable 2019-20 season. Christian Wood, it depends if you think it's a surprise or not. He looked good last year. We all know he was going to be good. Miles Turner is literally continuing to be the league's best shot blocker. Colin Sexton, still prone to be wild, but he could fill it up. 35.7 points per 100 possessions. Jordan Clarkson is the only competitor I believe Boucher has for Sixth Man of the Year. If you look at last season percentages, but they were outliers, but either way. And John Wall's been looking good, so I'm sorry to hear to tell that to the Washington Wizard fans. So let's get back in. Number 5. Look, during the bubble last year, Mikal Bridges got a lot of attention for his defense, and on offense for the first 2 years, he shot decent percentages, but it was a lot of semi-open or complete open threes that he would turn down. But now, he's letting them fly with confidence and accuracy. He's shooting 45.9% from 3, and he's playing with the point guard, which likely helps this number. But a year ago, he would have been turning down half these 3-pointers. But other than that, most of his other numbers haven't really changed, but his impact on the bombs away approach have made his PR jump from 12.9 to 18, and his true shooting is now 66.6, and his BPM is 3.9 plus. Contavious Caldwell-Pope has been in the league for a while, but we knew him as one of the few bubble stars that seems to have had his play carry over to the new season. And KCP is the Lakers' third best player in the final, and seems like that in the first quarter of the season. In particular, his shooting has gone to another level. He is one of the best shooters in the league. At 27, he's turned a corner, shooting 50% from 3, while pushing to join the extremely rare 50-50-90 club. He's 52% from the field and 88% from the line. To sum it all up, his true shooting percentage is 70%. And it's also notable that KCP is letting it rip with much more abandon and pulling the trigger 9 times per 100 possessions. Literally just shooting almost 10 3-pointers a game. And in the playoffs, he was shooting about 0.7 more. So it's been crazy. And he's still doing his usual solid job on the defensive end as being a really good 3-and-D specialist on a contract that is way better, like financially for anyone. I just think he's been great. He's been great. So good. Mike Conley continues to show that he is an all-star that needs to go to an all-star game. Look, I thought Conley would blow up a lot quicker, but we know that they needed time to acclimate because Conley said it is the most complex offense ever. But he's posting career high percentage both inside and outside of the arc, making 50% of his twos and 42% of his threes, and more than half of his shots are coming from threes, continuing a long-term evolution in his shot selection. But the impressive part is inside the arc percentage. These are almost all made on unassisted basket. Again, he's taking advantage of space. And now he has Rudy Gobert finding sweet spots, so he gets his assist ratio up to 9.6 per 100 possessions. And Conley's steal rate is the highest in 8 years, and his rebound rate is also a career high. Building on a resume as the best player to never make an all-star. Put my man on the all-star team. Come on, guys. Let's go. And he leads the Jazz in BPM. Mike Conley is playing best basketball of his career so far. I think the most impressive thing about Gordon Hayward is that he looks like he's going back to the Utah version of himself, and he's becoming the focal point of the Charlotte's attack. And that doesn't necessarily seem like an obvious outcome, especially if anyone watched the Eastern Conference Finals, but he didn't look that great. But right now, he's scoring 33.2 points per 100 possessions as a Hornet compared to 33.4 in his final season in Utah. His 20.9 PER is the second highest of his career, only trailing his last season in Utah. But what stands out even more is his shooting. Hayward is stroking out better than he ever did in Boston or Utah for that matter. He's shooting 43.5% from 3, 55.1% from 2s, 86% from the line, all three of which would be career high if he maintains them for the course of the season. Perhaps the most encouraging thing is that he can still get to the cup. Hayward's taking 30% of his shots at the rim this year, which is more than even his final year at Utah, according to Clean the Glass. And shooting 60% once there, which is elite for a high-volume player. His free throw rate has declined, but he's still getting hit on 11.4% of his shot attempts, which is one of the league's better marks, throwing his usual solid defense across three positions, and Hayward is building a strong case to make his second all-star team, maybe even third team all-NBA. Jerami Grant is playing with all the freedom and importance that was expected from a move to Detroit. He left the Denver Nuggets this offseason to advance his game as an assured starter. The small forward hadn't looked back and leads the way as the leading candidate for the NBA Most Improved Player award. Though he had to shift position to accommodate Pistons star Blake Griffin, Jerami Grant has taken the reins quickly as the team's standout player, doubling his averages in points 24.4 and assists 2.8 while grabbing 6-point rebounds so far this season and is taking 18 shots per game. Having given the faith by the Pistons front office, Grant more than repaid the favor in showing why he bet on himself to move to a franchise where he would have more responsibility. With a 7'3" wingspan, Grant has the ability to blow past defenders and get to the rim. Also use that 7'3" wingspan to be a defensive stud. Although his talent is drawing eyes of teams around the league, it's unlikely for the forward to have this much freedom if he plays for any other team. So if we want to keep talking about them, I think statistically he's really transformed himself. He's super efficient. And the key skill is that people could say he couldn't shoot, but he's playing so good, and defensively he does everything, and I really hope they keep him, don't trade him. But that's the video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Please like and subscribe. This is actually kind of a doozy to make, so I've been making this for like about 2 hours, and I just finished. So please like. Hopefully YouTube doesn't copyright claim this, because they actually copyright claimed my last 2 videos, which is worth 27,000 views combined. So screw you guys. And please don't copyright claim this so I don't have to edit it.